What do you understand by cells? A cell is the basic unit of life in all known organisms. It is the smallest unit of an organism that retains the properties of life and is capable of functioning independently. Cells can be single-celled organisms, such as bacteria, or multicellular organisms, such as humans, which are made up of many different types of cells. The study of cells is called cell biology. Compare the size of molecules in cells. The size of molecules in cells varies greatly. Molecules are typically much smaller than cells, ranging in size from just a few angstroms. 1 angstrom equals 10 to the power of minus 10 meters, for small molecules like water or sugar, to several nanometers. 1 nanometer equals 10 to the power of minus 9 meters, for larger molecules like proteins. In contrast, cells are usually measured in micrometers. 1 micrometer equals 10 to the power of minus 6 meters, or millimeters, and can range from a few micrometers for single-celled organisms like bacteria, to several millimeters for large plant cells. So, in general, cells are much larger than the molecules that make them up. What the major benefits of cells? Cells have several key benefits that contribute to the success and survival of living organisms. 1. Structure and protection. Cells provide a defined structure and protective barrier that helps maintain the integrity of the organism. 2. Metabolism. Cells carry out all the metabolic processes necessary for life, such as obtaining energy, synthesizing molecules, and eliminating waste. 3. Reproduction. Cells are capable of reproducing and dividing, which allows organisms to grow and repair damaged tissues. 4. Specialization. In multicellular organisms, cells can differentiate and specialize in specific functions, such as muscle cells or nerve cells, leading to the development of complex tissues and organs. 5. Adaptation. Cells can evolve and adapt to changing environments, allowing organisms to survive and thrive in different conditions. 6. Communication. Cells can communicate with each other through signaling pathways, allowing for coordination and control of cellular functions within the organism. What the major drawbacks of cells? While cells provide many benefits, they also have some drawbacks. 1. Limited size. As cells grow, they reach a point where they can no longer continue to increase in size. 1. This limits their ability to take in necessary nutrients and expel waste. 2. Vulnerability to damage. Cells are susceptible to damage from physical, chemical, and biological agents, such as radiation, toxins, and pathogens, which can lead to disease or death of the organism. 3. Risk of mutations. Cells are subject to mutations that can affect their normal functioning, leading to genetic disorders and cancers. 4. Limited energy production. The energy production mechanisms in cells, such as cellular respiration, can become impaired, leading to decreased energy levels and decreased efficiency. 5. Loss of specialized functions. In multicellular organisms, cells can lose their specialized functions and become less effective, leading to decreased organism performance and potential diseases. 6. Aging. Over time, cells can become less efficient and begin to deteriorate, leading to the aging of the organism and eventual death. History of cells. The history of the study of cells can be traced back to the 1660s, when Robert Hooke first observed and described cells while examining cork under a microscope. He named the structures he observed cells, because they reminded him of the small rooms in a monastery. In the 18th and 19th centuries, advances in microscopy allowed for further study of cells and their structures. In 1838, Matthias Jakob Schleiden and Theodor Schwann proposed the idea that all living things are composed of cells, forming the basis of cell theory. In 1855, Rudolf Virchow proposed the idea that cells only arise from pre-existing cells, which is now known as the principle of biogenesis. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, important discoveries were made about the functions of cells, including the discovery of cell division by Walter Fleming and the discovery of the genetic material DNA by James Watson and Francis Crick. Today, cell biology is a thriving field of research, with ongoing studies into the structure, function, and behavior of cells and how they interact with each other to form living organisms. What happens if cells merge into big giant? If cells were to merge into a big giant cell, it would likely result in a loss of specialization and division of labor that is characteristic of multicellular organisms. In a multicellular organism, cells specialize to perform specific functions, such as muscle cells, nerve cells, or skin cells. When cells merge into a giant cell, these specialized functions would likely be lost. Additionally, the giant cell may struggle with maintaining proper metabolic processes and waste removal, as the increased size would make it more difficult for materials to diffuse in and out of the cell. Moreover, a giant cell would also be more vulnerable to damage and disease, as a larger cell would have a greater surface area to volume ratio, making it easier for harmful agents to enter and cause damage. Overall, if cells were to merge into a big giant, it would likely result in decreased efficiency, decreased survival, and reduced ability to adapt to changing environments, which would likely lead to the eventual death of the organism. Conclude all above. In conclusion, cells are the basic unit of life and play a critical role in the survival and success of all known organisms. They provide structure and protection, carry out essential metabolic processes, reproduce, differentiate and specialize, communicate with each other, and evolve and adapt to changing environments. However, cells also have some limitations, including limited size, vulnerability to damage, risk of mutations, limited energy production, loss of specialized functions, and aging. The study of cells has a rich history, beginning with Robert Hooke's observation of cells in cork in the 1660s and continuing with important discoveries about cell structure, function, and behavior. Today, cell biology is a thriving field of research, with ongoing studies aimed at understanding how cells interact with each other to form living organisms. If cells were to merge into a big giant cell, it would result in a loss of specialization and division of labor, difficulty in maintaining proper metabolic processes and waste removal, increased vulnerability to damage and disease, and decreased efficiency, survival, and ability to adapt to changing environments, which would likely lead to the death of the organism. For more videos, stay tuned with us.